Good morning and happy Friday. It's a beautiful fall day. Sun's coming up. Not as cold as it looks outside, thank goodness. So, we were talking the other day, and I kind of wanted to continue the same conversation because it's so important. Little things become big things. You know, the old adage that I've said several times is sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. What we always have to remember is the people that are successful, it usually isn't a windfall at the end that makes them successful. It's almost always the daily habits that got them to that point. So, especially in the entertainment industry, you'll see somebody that's all of a sudden an overnight success. You know, that'll happen all the time where it's like they're an overnight success out of nowhere. And normally when you learn the actual history, what you find out is rarely does somebody show up and they're a success. It does happen. Elton John, Tom Cruise. I mean, it does happen. But even they had their significant struggles along the way. But 99% of the time, when somebody becomes significantly successful to the point that everybody notices, it's actually things that they've been doing for years that got them to that point. They've been doing little things every day, and all of a sudden, those little things added up to something big. You know, think about somebody that's in great shape. Do they work out once and then they're done? Of course not. They work out all the time. And it's easy to work out on the days when it's easy, but then there's going to be days where you don't feel like it, or your schedule gets weird, or something else happens. The people that achieve the outcomes that we look at and that we value and that we are envious of, they work out on the days where they don't feel like it. They do the things that other people don't do. Successful people do the things that other people aren't willing to take the time to do. Instead of, you know, sitting down and watching TV, instead of going out to the bar, instead of, sitting on and scrolling through Facebook, they're putting in the work. They're putting in the time. And normally that's an unsung proposition. I mean, normally you got to do it with kind of blind faith that it's all going to work out. And you go and go and go, and sometimes it feels like it's never going to work out. It's always darkest before the dawn. I mean, there's a reason those cliches become a cliche. But it's good to remember that the little daily rituals, the little daily habits are the things that are going to make a difference. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. If you decide to start reading 10 minutes a day starting today, and just don't miss doing that, in a couple of years, you'll have read dozens of books. If you decide that I'm going to run to the end of my driveway or the end of my lane or the end of my street, whatever it is, and back today, and every day I'm going to go a couple of steps further, which is how you train for a marathon. That's exactly what you do. Before you know it, you're running 10 miles and 15 miles. It's amazing how it happens. You know, I've trained for one marathon and I helped my wife helped. I mean, I was around while she trained for several others. And it's wild to go out and have the first run be, 3, 4, 5 miles. And then before you know it, you're out and you're doing 18 miles like it's nothing. And you get done, you're like, wow, that's amazing that you can do that. And that's exactly how it works. You start out little, and little things become big things. So don't look backwards, look forwards. We don't drive down the road looking in the rear view mirror. From here forward, what are the things that you can do for the rest of your life that are going to create the outcomes that you want in your life? If it's financial, then we know what that is. You got to spend less than you make and you got to save the difference, and you got to make it automatic. You got to do it on a regular basis, and then invest it in a way that makes sense and pay attention to it. You can't ignore your money. You got to pay attention to it. If it's your health, then you got to take daily action. You got to eat the right things. It's not complicated. Being healthy and in great shape is not complicated. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's not complicated. Eat healthy foods. What are healthy foods? Natural foods, foods that haven't been processed, foods that haven't been cooked. This isn't rocket science. How do you work out? Any way that you want. You don't need some resource. You can just do push-ups and sit-ups and run around your house, and it'll work if you're determined. So it isn't the resource, it's the resourcefulness. And we got to look at the little things and see where they become big things. That's why looking down the road and setting goals is so important, because the idea there is to inspire you to take the daily actions, even on the days when you don't really feel like it. So happy Friday. It's a beautiful day. We're into November. Hard to believe. But remember, little things become big things. Do the little things every day that are going to result in the large outcomes. There's a bald eagle flying over my house. Can you see it? Where's he at? Where's he at? Right there. That's pretty wild. The little things become the big things. Tiny little things are what work yourself into large outcomes and large results that you're looking for. So, what are the little actions that you can take today and every day to get you to those outcomes? And then take them. Start doing them. Successful people do the stuff that other people won't do or won't take the time to do. Discipline is what you need. You know, there's two types of pains: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons. So feel the pain of discipline today so you don't feel the pain of regret tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hi to my Uncle Bill, Mr. Jehovah. You guys are always 1 and 2 on this. I'm so honored. Jacqueline, great to have you on. Miss Benning, out in California. Hello, hello. 18 miles. I rode a bike on the 18 miles. She ran, although I did do a marathon once. I did do that. Scott, so great to see you. Myrtle Beach, it's cold. Not as cold as it is here. Great to see you, everybody. Thank you so much for being on. Truly honored that you take the time to watch. Hope you get value. Leave something in the chat, especially if there's something that you want me to talk about. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.